says stronger relationships. Our youth ministry should build stronger partnering with even the parents in the church. Because we can talk all day about young people and say what they need to be doing, but they are limited in what they can do because they are young people. If I am 7 years old, I cannot bring myself to church.
That's right.
You can shame me and shake your head at me all you want to, but until an adult steps up and partners with the church for me to grow spiritually, I'm not going to grow spiritually because I'm 7.
That's right. That's right.
So parents have to be active, and they might become more active in their spiritual formation of their children if youth ministries exist. I have had countless adults call me at the church and ask me about our youth ministry. And every time I get one of those calls, I get really happy. Because that tells me that adults care. They want to go to church, but they want to be sure that spiritual formation is happening in the lives of their children. So when they call, whatever questions they have, and whatever things they have to say, I love to listen. Because parents can help grow your youth ministry. How can I call myself not listening to a parent and I don't even have any biological children? How dare I say I'm Dr. McCoy with a PhD? I wrote a book. I know what to do. I went to seminary. I'm a preacher. I know how to pastor. I know this and I know that. You don't know as much as you think you know.
That's right.
And the more you know, the more you realize that you don't know. Listen to the parents. Listen to their experiences with these school systems. Listen to their experiences when they take their children for extracurricular activities. Listen to the parents when they say that when they were growing up, there were certain things not in their churches, and they want them to be in their church now. Now, let me say this. Now, you're going to perhaps be limited, though, if you're not the senior pastor. We can talk about youth ministry all day and be excited. And then sometimes there are pastors.
That's right.
Who are not very interested.
That's right.
In youth ministry. Maybe they have their reasons. It may be because youth don't have jobs, so they don't bring in money.
Come on, tell it.
Okay? So as I'm telling you these things, I understand that sometimes you work within the realms of what this pastor is saying he or she wants and what they don't want. And what I'm telling you is you respect leadership and you remember that the church is not the only place where you can serve youth.
That's right.
Remember that there is a broad community of young people, at-risk youth, that the church is not always concerned about because we stay in the four walls. Go serve those kids. Remember that little Tyrone can't read. And you can volunteer and go over to the school and read to little Tyrone when the church is stuck in the four walls and doesn't want to do it. Remember that there are kids being swayed by gangs each and every day. And those gang leaders are taking the time to listen and mentor those kids. Get outside of the church and serve young people. They are everywhere. They are in schools. They are in hospitals. They are on parks. There are parents struggling, single mothers. They are crying out, praying right now for people who love Jesus.
Amen.
To say, suffer the little children to come unto me. And better yet, let me go to where the children are. So, don't be discouraged if you have a pastor who you're just praying for right now. Everybody grows in their own time. Don't bash the pastor. Don't say, if this was my church, I would, well, it's not your church. God has placed this person over this church, and if it's not for them to be there, they'll be gone after a while, believe me. But respect leadership and do God's work, and don't limit God's work to a church. Because people are hurting. And they need us to go outside of these doors. So I don't want us to sit here and say, well, Dr. McCoy, I can't do that at my church, and then just give up. Don't do it at your church. Jesus did not say, therefore go to the church and make disciples. He actually said, therefore go make disciples of all nations. When was the last time you went to a nation? We want to take everything in the Bible so literal, so literally. That's what the word says. Well, that's what the word says, church. It says that too. So let us not limit God's work to the church. And I know I'm talking about the importance of youth ministry in the church, but I want to make sure that we're thinking like Jesus. Jesus went to community. There are people whom Jesus may not have ran into if he hadn't ran into them.